Hi, today I have a little gift for you. It is a mobilization and restorative pose class, 2 restorative poses, but we start with some mobilizing movements. So the reason I like to do that is you can really down-regulate just a little bit, but also provide your body with a little more movement than a pure restorative class. So here's my offering, and we are going to need a few things. I've got a little something for my head, and then I've got a yoga bolster. You do not need a yoga bolster. You can have some thick blankets that you stack up. And I am going to show 2 blocks. You don't need them. You don't have to have them. And then I've got a towel. You can have additional blankets. It's part of creating a little bit of a stair-step slope rather than just the bolster. And you'll see what I mean as we get going. But for now, let's just start with a little quick warm-up. And I'm going to suggest that we warm up with a little jiggling. Now, if you are not seated, let's say you're standing for right now, and I don't want my ring to fall off. Let's say you're not seated and you're standing. What you'll do is start shaking your limbs, and I'm going to have to take that ring off. Shaking all your limbs. You can let all of that underarm flab just wiggle away, and I'm wiggling my feet, so maybe you're dancing a little if you're standing up. And then I'm going to come back to a more silent position. And we're going to come onto our back. So coming down onto our back, for starters, I'm going to have a little something to prop my head because I'm going to practice a little breathing for a minute. And it's always nice to prop your head so that your ribs feel like they're connecting with the floor. And if this isn't enough propping, you can, of course, get more. Get another towel or a blanket, something to prop you up just a little bit higher so you feel kind of connected with the floor right there. And all that we're going to do is think about our 360-degree breath. So my suggestion for you, once you see what I'm doing, is you close your eyes. So what we're going to do is think about how when we inhale, the air travels down the trachea and fills up our lungs. And then when we exhale, it all comes back out again. And when we do that, the glottis opens, the breathing diaphragm moves down, and so does the pelvic floor diaphragm. And then as we exhale, everything moves back up again. So my hands are the image of the diaphragms moving as we breathe, just visualizing inhale, the filling of air and the moving down of the diaphragms, and then the exhale, the moving up of diaphragms and pushing the air out. So it's a really nice symphony, coordinated movement that your body just naturally does. And we can appreciate the beauty in that and appreciate the fact that when we do that inhale, there is side-to-side movement of our ribs. There is a little up and down. And we also have our ribs filling volume both in the top and in the bottom. So we've got the floor beneath us, but sometimes you can sort of isolate that inhale and feel your rib cage expanding in all directions, pressing into the floor, pressing into air, pressing into your hands if they're on your side. So we're just experiencing that whole 360-degree breath. Now I'm going to take my towel out from under my head, and we're going to do a little bridging. So just note if you can touch your heels. Not everybody can. My arms are a little long for the size of my body. I can touch my heels. If you can't, just try to sense, maybe pound your heels a little bit, that they're kind of below your sitting bones, below your bottom cheeks. So once you're there, I'm going to move my arms with my thumbs coming up, but we'll start by just pressing our heels into the ground and using your bum as an elevator to come up. And then we go back down. And you'll notice I'm hinging and unhinging. I'm not doing an articulated bridge. Sometimes this is done as an articulated bridge, but I'm just showing it to you in a super duper safe osteoporosis safe way with the neutral spine. So I'm not changing the shape of my spine. I'm keeping it in its more original form. And now we're going to inhale and take our arms up overhead as our bum lifts. And then we're going to exhale and bring it all down. And I touched the floor, so I'm going to reset myself, get myself in a natural spot again, and inhaling up. Exhaling down, and just notice how you can float down like a feather, but a feather that has brakes on it. So your bum lifts you up, pushes you up, just like an elevator, and then just like an elevator, your bum slows the descent down so you don't come crashing down and you land light as a feather. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Now we're going to add on to this. Gets a little complicated, but it's not if you just listen to me. This is the beginning of how many people prepare for a vacuum breath. We're not going to do the vacuum breath. This is just a first step in getting there. So we are going to inhale up, forcefully exhale, feel that rigidity, then let the rigidity go. Inhale again, into the softness, and exhale, coming on down. So again, you inhale up, exhale with force. Feel the tightening. Let the tightening go. Inhale, and then exhale all the way down. And again, inhaling up, exhaling forcefully, letting go of that tightness. Inhaling again, feeling everything move 360, and then exhale, coming on down. And last one, you inhale to come up. You exhale forcefully. Feel the tightening in your torso. Let that tightening go. Inhale again, feeling your ribs expand. And exhale, you come on down. So that wasn't so hard, was it? Great. Now what we're going to do is just windshield wiper our legs. So I'm going to walk my feet a little wider. This is a really slow, deliberate windshield wiper. So I'm keeping touch with my rib cage here, mostly so you can see it. But I also think it's a great idea to put your hands here because I'm really not looking to roll my body. If I were rolling or twisting, it might look like that. So I'm just looking to really get a stretch on the front of my thigh and then come over and stretch out the front of this thigh. So my hip does lift. Good. And then I'm going to stop for one more second, and I'm going to get a little more movement in my leg. So I'm going to take my right leg out into external rotation, and my left leg in, internal rotation. Then the left leg goes out, and the right leg comes in. And then the right leg goes out, the left leg comes in, the left leg goes out, the right leg goes in. And one more, right leg out, left leg in, out, in, and then back to neutral. So now that we're in neutral, we're going to slide to our side and come up to our hands and knees. And if this is a very delicate situation for you, get something for your knees. If it's super delicate and you don't want to do that, you can come to the wall. So you can stand with your hands both against the wall. I'm going to show it to you here on the ground, and we're just going to do a little rhomboid push-up. So my elbow pits are facing forward, which means I'm not here like a bulldog. Elbow pits forward. And I'm just allowing myself to get all lazy and then pushing into the palms of my hands, and my shoulder blades are wide on my back. So once again, I'm collapsing, my shoulder blades come together, and then my shoulder blades go wide on my back. And it's the bottoms of my shoulder blades that come together, not the top. You start squeezing at the top and you get all kinds of neck tension. Just allow, don't even think about squeezing, just allow the shoulder blades together and then push away. And we're not arching our low back as we do it, keeping that low back the same as it started and just getting a little movement. Good. And so now that we've done that, we're ready for our little first pose. And this pose is essentially an iliacus release, but it's extended and more luxurious. So frequently for an iliacus release, I would just put my bum up here and my torso where my knees are right now. But what we're going to do instead is create a stair step situation. So this is super gentle and sloped and just totally luxurious. If you have a stack of blankets instead of a bolster, that's a great place to start. You just need more blankets. So I'm going to double this fold, it's really sort of quadrupled, right here. So it's below the height of the bolster, and then the pillow, or this towel without this other layer is here. So you can see I've got a bit of a stair step. We won't be putting anything under our head, although you could. And so feel free to do that if you so choose. And then I'm going to put these on the side. This is totally optional if you feel like it. It's a great thing to do for your hands. So here's the hard part. When you have osteoporosis, you may not want to sit on top of this guy. Well, you certainly don't want to curl down. That's a no-no. So we're not going down in an old-fashioned Pilates kind of way. What you can do, though, is you can walk your way down. So we come down. Now what you do need is your heels. For me, my legs aren't long enough. My heels are going to go on the bolster for me to figure out exactly where I am. You could have had your heels on the ground. So here we are in this really nice gentle slope, very, very supported. It's all very soft, and we are not in a tucked pelvis per se. It is a little bit of a posterior flow, but we're not doing something that is a contraindicated tucked pelvis under load. This is a really gentle, lovely thing. I like having my feet right here and my knees where they are. You could put your knees together. You could allow your knees to come apart. That's totally up to you. I'm kind of liking it here because my visual is going to be all about my breath and my pelvis. So you can use some blocks for resting if you like, or not. Totally up to you. I just want to offer it up as an idea. Another great idea is for your hands. I kind of like this way. So I'm going to go with this. And then I invite you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, notice your breath again. Notice the rise and fall of your belly and your chest. Notice that your head is relaxed. So your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, and your jaw are relaxed, and the back of your neck is relaxed. The front of your collarbone lets go, and your shoulders are falling towards the ground. And then you notice how your whole torso is sloping towards your heart. Maybe you can think about those diaphragms and the breath as we visualized in the beginning. Maybe you can think about how all of the muscles that must be around all of the diaphragms are muscles, but there's more muscles, accessory muscles attached. It's all just flowing like a river right down towards your heart. see the river flowing from your legs into your pelvis. And the hip flexors are flowing downhill as well. The iliacus is a more fan-shaped hip flexor in the bowl of your pelvis. And that whole bowl is flowing with the river towards your belly button. Just see that river. See if you can notice your pelvic floor. It's not tight. It's released. It's not really having to work, and it's floating with everything else towards your belly button and your heart. Can you see the flow of that river? Letting go of the tops of your thighs and the front of your hips. Can you feel that your bum actually becomes a part of that river? It's the bed of the river. And the silt on the bottom just flows with the water. Can you see the river possibly getting wider? The river is gentle, wider, deeper. Continue to breathe. Continue to see the river, and that even without the slope, flows into your body. Your hands become a part of that flowing river, flowing towards your shoulders. Everything melts near your shoulders. The energy from your face and your head and your hair and your ears and your jaw melts towards your shoulders. And everything just pours into the earth. Notice how your breath takes very little movement now. It's not shallow, but it doesn't need much effort. If you are enjoying this pose, you can always hit pause and stay with it a little bit longer. I am going to come to the side and come up and show you how to set up for our interesting shavasana. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move the blanket or towel, and I'm going to use the 2 blocks to create a higher position for my legs. I think I'll move this down and further away. Now for somebody as petite as I am, this is maybe more, and maybe I would be better off propping it up a little bit with my towel, but I'm going to show it to you this way because I think it's really cool and I think you'll like it. So the way I'm going to get into this one is I'm going to come down to my side again, always arranging my torso in a safe way first, and then letting my legs just hang over. So part of the idea is to be propped up high enough that your legs are hanging over like so. One of the things you can do if you're really into this pose, and I should have said it ahead of time, you can wrap your legs like a burrito. I don't know if you've ever been to a restorative class. You would use a blanket and you wrap them up, and it can be really warm and cozy to have the legs just kind of hanging out, the lower legs hanging out, all wrapped up in a blanket. So if you want to do that, go right ahead. Some people will want something under their head. I really feel okay here, but you may want something under your head, and again, you could use something under your hands. You can just bolster it all up. You can put a little towel over your eyes. Do everything possible to create just a really lovely, restful place. And before you move into your shavasana, I'm just going to ask you to practice a little breath work as our last movement. So we're moving all those little intercostal muscles in between our ribs, exercising our ribs, our little bone density exercise for the ribs. So we're going to inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. So 4-part breath. Pretty simple, but I need you to pick your own count. I'm going to start with 3, but there are a bunch of you who will be able to do 4 or 5, and I want you to pick. So I'll start with 3 and maybe move to 4 and maybe 5, but we'll just play with it. So inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3. Let's try 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. If you feel like moving on to 5, go right ahead and do that. Otherwise, just luxuriate in the feeling of the freedom in your ribcage, the ease of your breath. Feel every little follicle in your hair let go and drip towards the mat. And it drips down the back of your neck. Your forehead lets go, and it drips into your hair and towards your ears, following the trail toward your neck, the sides of your eyes. Let go, drip towards your ear and down your neck. Your cheeks, let go. They drip right to your ear and down your neck. Your jaw lets go. It's dripping down your neck and off your shoulders. Your whole neck is relaxed. Your head is heavy in the earth. That weight and warmth travels to your collarbone, and you feel your shoulders sink closer into the mat. Your t-shirt seam is flat against the floor. You're so heavy. And as you notice your ribs and your inhales and your exhales being so effortless, you can almost feel the bones weighing more towards the mat. And every muscle along your spine has let go. It's not holding you up, and you're relaxed and your spine is relaxed into the mat. You notice your sacrum heavy on the mat. Muscles that attach there have let go. Your hips, the iliac bones that are attached, the pubic bone, the whole hip complex, those bones are all heavy and warm. And all the muscles inside and out and threading through the pelvis melt and relax. It's all flowing warmly towards the floor. And you notice that all the muscles and bones of your thigh, from your knee to your hip, are melting towards the floor. Your kneecaps are not holding. They've let go. Your shins and your calves have let go. No muscles are active in your feet or your ankles. And you breathe. Stay here as long as you like.